Here I have every single GR Yaris ever made. The original, which is what I own. Then the Japan-only GRMN. Only 500 of these were made. Then we have the new GR Yaris. This is the manual version, and this is the automatic. Then we have two special limited editions, the Rovanperä and the Ojier. Only 200 of each of these will be built. Now in this video I'm going to compare all these cars, see what they're like to drive. Oh yes! I'm going to time them around a circuit. Oh massa! See what's special about them. I'm going to decide which one is the very best. I'm Mark Watson and you're watching Carwow. To compare these cars, I need to start at the beginning, and the first generation GR Yaris. Released in 2020, its 1.6 litre 3-cylinder turbo engine in Japanese spec has 272 horsepower and 370 Newton meters, a switchable 4-wheel drive system with Torsen LSDs, front and rear, and a 6-speed manual gearbox.
Just so you know, European versions of the GR Yaris have slightly less power and torque because they are fitted with petrol particulate filters to get them through strict European emissions regulations.
I'm going to test it on Toyota's newly opened Shimoyama Proving Ground. This 5-kilometre route has been designed to put a car under the same kind of strain as the Nürburgring, only it's a quarter of the scale. I mean, this thing has only just opened and no one's filmed on it before. I'm learning the track in the original GR Yaris because I'm familiar with this car, plus it's going to familiarise myself again with this before I go into the other car, so I've got this as the baseline for the comparison. Oh yeah, there's quite a lot of twists and turns and elevation changes straight away. Up a hill, down a hill, into some crazy bends. This is a crazy course, this is. Lots of sections to really test a car, and this particular turn's a bit of a tricky one because it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Oh, that's a good thing about the GR Yaris. Small and nimble. I love this car. To fully understand how Toyota has improved the GR Yaris, we need some baseline data. So now we are going to time the old car on a flying lap around a short handling circuit with the help of endurance racer and GR development driver Masahiro Sasaki. Okay then, here we go. Flying lap in the original GR Yaris. Starting the clock now. Whoa. Oh, you can feel the 4-wheel drive system just hunting for grip. Oh, massa! Oh, dude! He's not holding back. Wow. Obviously, he's got all the driving aids off. Here we go, here we go, here we go. What time's he gonna do? Whoa! 42.81. That is the baseline time for the GR Yaris. Now let's try a launch to time the car from 0 to 100 kilometers, also known as 0 to 62 miles an hour.
3, 2, 1.
Look good. Yeah, about 5.36. Now we come to the GR Yaris Gazoo Racing Meister of the Nürburgring, or GRMN for short. Its carbon roof is exposed and joined by a carbon rear spoiler and carbon bonnet. These, plus less soundproofing and no rear seats, save 20 kilograms over the standard car's 1,280 kilogram curb weight. There's extra stiffening too through extra spot welds and more bonding to the chassis. A rear brace bar, Bilstein adjustable dampers, stiffer springs, a 10mm lower ride height, wider wheels, revised front and rear bumpers for improved aero, a retuned all-wheel drive system, mechanical instead of Torsen differentials, a close ratio gearbox, a heavy-duty clutch, recalibrated steering, lower-mounted racing bucket seats, and Alcantara on the steering wheel and gear knob. And while peak power remains the same, torque is up to 390 Newton meters. Only 500 GRMNs were made and instantly sold in Japan through a lottery system, despite the £50,000 price tag. So, was this car worth it? Now, this car was a special project. Akio Toyota spent a lot of time working on himself personally, so I'm expecting it to be pretty blooming good. And straight away, right, within the first 100 meters, it feels special. I mean, that is helped by the fact these seats are so much better. The lower driving position by 20 millimeters. The steering is definitely sharper and more responsive. It really does feel like a race car. And just the suspension, just more sophisticated. This is the turn which is tricky, and wow, the way this just tucks in, absolutely no problem at all. It almost feels like it just needs more power because the chassis is so blooming good. I so wish we had this in the UK. This would have been really popular. You know, loads of people with Ferraris and Lamborghinis and huge car collections, they all bought GR Yarises to add to their collection because it's such a special vehicle. Well, those kind of people would have lapped this particular car up. If you got that kind of money, this is the one you would have wanted. I was literally blown away by how good that GRMN felt to drive. But how would this translate on a flying lap? Right then, Massa, I'm expecting great things from the GRMN. Let's see what you can do. Slight bit of push there, but oh, it's so much flatter through the bends. I want the speed through there. Oh, yes. This is going to be quicker for sure. Oh yeah. Come on. Oh, what's it going to do? Come on. Oh, this is quick. This is quick, yes. 40.25, more than 2 seconds quicker. Round here. Whoa. You can see why this is like Marizo's favourite. Now for the launch.
3, 2, 1.
Look good. Let's find out the time. 5.22. The extra body stiffening of the GRMN has been carried across to the new Generation 2. And as part of Gazoo Racing's constant drive it, race it, break it, and then improve it philosophy, the Gen 2 model has an uprated, stronger engine with 300 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque in Japanese spec, strengthened gear links, a tougher differential, and revised settings for the all-wheel drive system. There's also stiffer suspension, different geometry, and exterior design tweaks for better cooling. Inside, a 20mm lower seating position and lower mounted rally-inspired dash with digital dials may not look pretty, but they are welcome. Problem is, in the UK, the price has gone up from £33,000 for the Circuit Pack edition to £45,000 for the new car, which is only available with the Circuit Pack. Is it worth the extra money? Instantly compared to the GRMN with its more aggressive clutch, it's just easier to drive as I'm pulling onto the track. However, I can tell already that they've learned from that car because the seating position in this is much more like in the GRMN, so I'm sitting lower, which is much appreciated. However, I just don't have the grip in the seat bolsters as in that GRMN, so I'd rather have those seats in this. Interestingly, this car does feel stiffer than the previous generation, just a little bit more responsive on turning, a bit more solid feeling. It doesn't feel totally planted in the same way that that GRMN did. You have a bit more body roll, but there is a noticeable improvement over the original. Actually, the steering just feels a little bit more natural and progressive as well. So notice the lean there compared to the GRMN. I just put the car into sports mode, which gives you a sharper throttle response. And that's something you couldn't do with the previous generation. The only thing you could alter was the torque split on the four-wheel drive system, but now you can alter the throttle mapping as well. You can feel the extra power, or maybe it's a placebo because it's not loads, it's like 30 horsepower. It just seems to rip its way to the red line a little bit more eagerly than before. They altered the gear shift slightly, made it a little bit stronger as well after testing it to destruction during rallying. The question is though, how much quicker is the new GR Yaris than its predecessor on a flying lap? Right then, Gen 2 GR Yaris manual. Let's see what we do. Oof. It feels grippier than the Gen 1. This is going to be quicker than the Gen 1. It's going to be interesting to see how close it gets to the GRMN. Oh, it's a nice bit of just rotation there. Oh. So more power, stiffer body. Let's see what we're going to do. Here we are. Oh, yes! 41.58, over a second quicker than the old GR Yaris. That's quite an improvement really from Gen 1 to Gen 2. I think the engineers are pleased about that result. So it's not as quick as the GRMN, but noticeably quicker than the standard old GR Yaris. But what about the launch?
3, 2, 1.
Let's see if that was quicker than the old GR Yaris. Yes, it was. 5.26 to 62 miles an hour. It is quicker.
Want to sell your car quickly, easily, and for a fair price?
Then head to carwow to have over 4,000 trusted dealers ready to bid on it in an online auction.
First, enter your car's registration to get an instant approximate valuation. Then, if you want to proceed, give us some more details and upload some photos, and we'll help you set a fair reserve price for your car. That's the minimum amount you'd be happy to sell it for.
Once you've done that, we'll enter your car into an online auction.
When the auction's over, we'll let you know the result, and the dealer with the winning bid will be in touch to arrange easy payment and free collection of your car. 93% of sellers surveyed said they got the price they expected or more through carwow. The best bit is, it's completely free! I put a link in the description of this video and the pinned comment to take you directly to carwow, where over 4,000 dealers are ready to bid on your car. Or you can just click on the pop-out banner that should be appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen now. Alternatively, just Google "Help Me Carwow" and we will help you sell your car quickly, easily, and for a fair price. On with the video.
As part of the changes to the new GR Yaris, there's a new silver paint, plus the addition of an automatic gearbox option. It's an 8-speed torque converter, but has a quick lock-up function and fast changes. It has a manual mode, so you can use the steering mounted paddles to change gear, or like in a touring car, you can use the centrally mounted gear lever to change too. But is this gearbox any good? I think I'm going to be able to explore this track a little bit better in the automatic version, because I'm not going to have to think about changing gears quite so much, although I'm going in manual mode. And I think my first criticism would be the fact that I'd like the paddles to be a bit bigger. They're very much like the size that you get on VW group cars, which aren't large enough. I mean, with this kind of car, I'd always drive it in manual mode with the paddle shifters. Less involving, yes, in some ways, but when you're on an unfamiliar, tricky circuit like this, it actually helps you out. On the road, I like the added involvement of the manual. It's quite good auto. It's not a dual clutcher. In some ways, I wish it was a dual clutcher, like you get the more instantaneous gear shift, but it's not dead slow, and you do get a little jolt in between gear changes to add to the drama. Well, I'm gonna whack it into auto mode and see how good it is at figuring out what to do. Will it pick the right gear for me as I exit this corner? I think I'd rather have been in a lower gear there, to tell you the truth. Everyone goes on though, oh no, you want the manual, it's more involving. But I think when everything's electric and there's not even like paddle shifts, I think we'll enjoy it. We'll look back on them and go, actually, they were far more involving than we actually gave them credit for back in the day. But the main thing about this, just opens it up to a wider audience. However, I'd be interested to see if it actually makes you quicker. While I prefer to use the paddles, Toyota's engineers say full automatic is actually quicker than going in manual mode. And so that's how Massa is going to drive it for this flying lap. So let's see how this does. He's really fast at changing gears manually, but this should be quicker. We'll find out though. It's running in fully auto. That's a recommendation of the engineers. Oof. Oh wow, he's absolutely smacking the crap out of this car. Can't believe it's taken it. Oh, it's heavier, the automatic, but only by 20 kilos, so that's probably not going to make a difference. I'm not sure it's going to be quicker though. What's the time going to be? Oh! Whoa. So this is testament at how quick he is at changing gears. That was a 41.35. The automatic was quicker, but by the smallest margin. Impressive. But how will the addition of launch control affect the car's 0 to 62 mile an hour time?
3, 2, 1.
So that had launch control. I wonder if it made a difference. I don't know, his launches were pretty good in manual.
I think it'd be more on the gear change. So the time to beat is 5.26. That's what he did in the manual. I think the engineers are interested to find out. Oh! 4.99, sub 5 seconds. Well done.
What's really interesting about all of this is that the difference in performance that Massa got out of each car is exactly what the engineers predicted. But it's not all good news. You see, while Toyota will build more of the Gen 2 than the old one, only a couple hundred of them will ever actually make it to the UK. Now, you can blame our emissions regulations for that. So it's going to be a rare sight, but not as rare as these special edition models, of which only 200 will be made of each worldwide. First up, we have the Sebastian Ogier edition, which has been inspired by the 8-time WRC champ. It has a larger carbon wing, unique grey paint and badging, while inside there's red, white and blue stitching for the French flag on the steering wheel. Mechanically though, it's identical to the standard Generation 2 GR Yaris. However, the all-wheel drive control system has been tweaked slightly, so that variable track mode is now called Morizo mode, which, while still constantly variable, has a slightly more rear drive bias, and instead of the standard car's 53/47 front to rear gravel setting, there's a new 40 front 60 rear split SEB mode as preferred by the man himself.
In case you're wondering who this Morizo character is, well, it's actually the name that Akio Toyoda goes by when he's racing, sort of like his racing driver alter ego, in the same way that Bruce Wayne is also Batman.
Now I'm in the Ogier version. First thing I'm going to do is run the car in Morizo mode. Going to have variable four-wheel drive, shuffling the torque between the front and the rear, but with a bit more of a rear drive bias than how the standard car would operate. Let's see if I can notice any difference. This tightening corner here. And get on the gas through here. So no, I can't really tell. I'd have to really back-to-back them over and over again to be sure. What I'm going to do though now is go into SEB mode. So it's locked 40/60 front to rear. Now with my old GR Yaris, I like the sport mode where you had like 30/70, but I felt it was a bit too rear, whereas I quite like this distribution because it still feels a bit rear drive bias, but you are getting the benefit of that front diff, just like hooking up the nose. And this is where you want quite a bit of torque going to the front, coming out of a tight turn like that, because you can just get the front diff hooking up and dragging you out of the bend.
Next is the Ojier Rovanperä edition. Not only does it have a wilder 3-colour paint scheme designed by Calais' mate, the carbon adjustable rear wing is taken from the GRMN. Unlike with the Ogier, there is a mechanical change to the all-wheel drive system with a slightly different ratio that enables the front and rear wheels to spin at the exact same rate when you switch the car into its new donut mode, which replaces gravel mode of the standard car. Meanwhile, there's a new Calais mode, which replaces the standard car's track setting. This has more rear drive bias when you're first turning into a corner, then goes more to 50/50 when you're going through the corner to help pull it out of the turn.
So I'm going to start off in Calais mode. So the idea is that you, get the best of both worlds. You get that initial thrust getting pushed out the corner, but then you've got torque going to the front to help hook you up and really engage that front diff. So in theory, this should be my favourite setting. Makes the car maybe feel a little bit more agile. This is probably the mode that I drive around in. Do you know what I'm going to do now though? I'm going to go silly and go into donut mode. So lock 50/50, front and rear wheels turning at the same speed. Actually, that feels a little bit less agile, almost a bit more pushy. Yeah, I'm not sure that's right for on the road. However, there is a time when donut mode could be very useful. To really experience donut mode, we've got Massa driving again, so here we go. That was wicked! Oh, it's like it's going backwards. I think he likes donut mode. Whoa! Whoa, dude! Oh man! And what a way to finish!
For me, of the two special edition versions, the Calais Rovanperä is the better one. Though to tell you the truth, at around £60,000 each, neither feel worth the extra £15,000 over the standard Generation 2 GR Yaris, which remember is already £13,000 more than the original Mark 1 GR Yaris. However, for collectors, they may be worth it. Either way though, your chance of getting hold of any of the Generation 2 GR Yarises in the UK is a bit of a long shot. So, if you're going to dream, you may as well dream big. So then, what's my final verdict? Well, every GR Yaris is a winner, but it's interesting to see the improvement as you go through the generations and the work that is done on them and the continuous development that Toyota makes. If I could have one, it'd be this one, the GRMN. It totally blew me away. It's basically like the RS version of Toyota's GR series. Amazing machine. And I want to say huge thanks to everyone over there from Toyota who made this possible. Thank you very much, guys.
Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps us out. If you click on the video windows, you can watch some more videos, and if you click on the CarWow logo, you can go to CarWow to see how much money you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.